First off, tell us your name and what you're running for.
Tony, I'm Roger Wade, and I'm running for Post 2 on the local county commission here in Floyd County.
You're a longtime business owner here in Floyd County. What made you decide to finally run for a political office?
I guess most of it has to do with property rights and taxes. And the handful of years that I've been somewhat active in political issues, I've always centered around those things. And the last straw, literally, was the reassessment in the downtown area, where I've got some money invested in property, and they were just raising assessed rates from 25 to 60%, and I just felt that was absurd, and I wanted to be part of the solution of the problem.
Tell me a little bit about your political background and some of the things that folks may not know about you, and just some ideas that you may have when you or if you get elected to office.
Well, I don't really have a political background. This is my first endeavor into politics. I am an outspoken person. If you want to know what I think, either stand around long enough or ask me, and you'll eventually know. I grew up here, and when I graduated from high school out at West Rome, where we planted those pine trees out there as part of the community effort, went down to West Georgia and came back, and there were no jobs. There was no place for me to really go to work. I left and went to work for some people, and then bought a business or two, and raised a family, and sold a business or two, and realized about 10 years ago my children were grown, and I was single, living in Atlanta, sitting in traffic one Friday afternoon, and just wasn't what I wanted to do. So I looked at changing my life and moving, and the one key word that kept coming up was community, and it took me a little while to really determine that meant coming home, and that's what I did. I sold a condo and made some changes, moved back to Rome, and opened a business here, and have been active in the business community here ever since. I made a conscious choice to be here. The first time that I came, I had no choice. I was a 9-year-old kid, and I was going to be in Rome, Georgia, and that worked out okay. The second time, my return was really conscious choice. And again, it's all based on community. I want to give back to that community some of what it's given to me. One of the sad things in returning is that as there were no jobs in 1969, there are no jobs today. We are educating our youth and having to send them away to find careers and to find jobs.
Obviously, your seat's going to depend on the Republican primary, July 31st. What makes you different than your opponent, both being on the Republican side of the ticket?
Well, I have 42 or 3 years experience in business ownership and in property ownership and development, and at the drop of the hat, I have to make decisions that a commission would make on a day-to-day basis, and I've done that, and I've done it well enough to at least still be here today. I carry that experience, and in that period of time, I laugh about being 65, and sometimes I lie about it and say I'm 50, but that's by accident. I've grown to be a little more reasonable, perhaps, than 10 or 15 years ago. I would like to think that I can be your voice of truth and of integrity and of reason, and that's what I want to be.
And finally, you and I spoke before we started about term limits and whatnot. This isn't something you want to do for the rest of your life, but what is your thoughts on that, and what do you think you can get done, and how many years do you think you'd like to do it?
Well, as we spoke, I laughed about possibly being a lifer, and that could happen because of my age, real simple, in a year or two. But I believe that the current 4-year term is not quite long enough for someone to make an impact that needs to be made. It would be really great if these were nonpartisan races and they were 6-year terms and you couldn't repeat immediately for a second term. You'd have to sit out one. That would give someone enough time to not only get their feet wet, but to ground themselves where they want to be for the mission that they're there, and enough time to accomplish it after that.